Have you ever wondered if a love powerful enough to bend the universe could turn into a pile of ashes in a single fleeting moment? The world claims that love is greater than death, but today's story presents a terrifying challenge to that very notion. This is the story of Nikki and Mickey, a couple who made vows for 7 lifetimes, never realizing that their very first lifetime would end in the cold shadow of death. Even today, when the wind howls through those desolate hills, you can hear the sobbing of 2 lost souls. Local legends say that their love is still wandering there, for it never found its destination. It only found a graveyard. Let us begin the chronicle of Nikki and Mickey's journey, a tale that still leaves the world's eyes wet and its soul trembling with fear. The love between Nikki and Mickey was deeper and more sacred than any movie script could ever portray. Nikki was a final-year nursing student at a prestigious city medical college. Her world revolved around the clinical smell of medicines, rolls of bandages, and the selfless service of her patients. She was quiet, gentle, and possessed a heart as clear as glass. On the other side was Mickey, a passionate and brilliant graphic designer. Mickey played with colors. His imagination breathed life onto digital canvases. The first meeting occurred on a heavy, rain-drenched evening. Nikki's classes had just ended, and she had forgotten her umbrella. Mickey pulled over in his car and offered her a ride. In that brief journey, as Mickey gripped the steering wheel and caught glimpses of Nikki's effortless grace, he felt as though all his designs and colors paled in comparison to the natural beauty of her face. The following 6 months were the most beautiful days of their lives. Mickey would often stand outside Nikki's college with a single red rose waiting to surprise her. Whenever Nikki stepped out after an exhausting hospital shift and saw Mickey waiting, all her fatigue would vanish into thin air. Their video calls lasted through the night. Mickey would often sketch Nikki while she talked, showing her the results on the screen. One night, Mickey stood beneath Nikki's hostel window, playing his guitar and singing softly, "You are my night, and you are my dawn." Nikki stood at the window and wept tears of joy, unable to believe that anyone could love her so deeply. Mickey eventually gifted her a locket with a tiny photograph of the 2 of them inside. He told her, "Nikki, even if my heartbeat stops one day, this locket will keep my presence alive within you." Their romance was so profound that they could read each other's hearts just by looking into each other's eyes. It was January, and a bone-chilling cold had gripped the city. Nikki's final exams had just concluded, leaving her physically and mentally drained. Mickey decided she needed a desperate escape and planned a surprise trip. "Nikki, we're going far away from this city's chaos to Shadow Valley," Mickey announced with excitement. Nikki hesitated at first. She had heard strange rumors about the road to Shadow Valley and whispered legends that weren't quite right. But Mickey took her hand, looked deep into her eyes and said, "You trust me, don't you? I will never let anything happen to you." Mickey prepared for weeks. He had his Thar SUV fully customized for the mountain terrain. He packed Nikki's favorite red wine, chocolates, and a handmade album containing every photo of them from their first meeting until now. He was planning to make her his forever on this trip. He intended to propose to her there. Tucked away in his pocket was a diamond ring engraved with the word "forever." Saturday morning, 4 a.m. The city was draped in a thick shroud of fog. Mickey's vehicle raced down the highway while Nikki slept peacefully,
her head resting on Mickey's shoulder. Mickey played their favorite songs at a low volume, the melody blending with the hum of the engine. As they left the main highway and turned onto the winding mountain roads, the scenery began to transform. The trees grew taller and denser, their branches interlocking like skeletal fingers. By 2 p.m., they reached an area so desolate that even the sound of birds had vanished. There was nothing but the roar of their engine echoing off the cliffs. Suddenly, an old man appeared in the middle of the road. Mickey slammed on the brakes. The old man was dressed in tattered rags, and his eyes were completely milk white, blind yet seemingly staring right through them. Mickey stepped out and asked, "Old man, is this the way to Shadow Valley?" The old man looked toward Nicky and then turned his sightless gaze to Mickey. "Son," he rasped, "on the path where you are carrying love, you will find only regret. Turn back now while the sun has not yet set." Mickey simply laughed it off and drove on. He turned to Nicky and said, "These mountain folk just love scaring tourists."
By 6 p.m., the sky turned a bruised purple. Suddenly, smoke began billowing from the car's engine. Mickey checked under the hood but couldn't find the source of the failure. Simultaneously, a torrential downpour and a freezing blizzard erupted. Their cell phones displayed a haunting "no service." Then, through the swirling mist, the mansion appeared, the Paradise Inn. It looked like a palace of old, but the moss-covered walls and shattered windows told a different, darker story. Drenched and shivering, Mickey and Nicky hurried inside. The front door creaked open on its own. The air inside was even colder than the blizzard outside. In the center of the hall was an ancient fireplace where wood was smoldering without ever having been lit. Nicky whispered, "Mickey, I'm scared. Look at these old portraits on the walls. It feels like they're watching us," gripping Mickey's arm so hard her knuckles turned white. To calm her, Mickey opened one of the guest rooms. Inside was a massive antique mirror, and rose petals were scattered across the bed. Mickey assumed the staff had prepared it in advance. He took Nicky in his arms and kissed her forehead. "Don't be afraid, Nicky. I'm right here." 1 a.m. Nicky's eyes flew open. She realized Mickey wasn't in bed. She stepped out into the hallway to find him. The candles in the corridor were flickering on and off by themselves. Suddenly, she heard a voice. "Nicky, Nicky." It was Mickey's voice, but it sounded hollow, as if it were coming from a great distance. Following the sound, Nicky found herself in the manor's basement. The sight that met her eyes made her blood run cold. Mickey was standing there, but he was scratching something into the stone walls with his fingernails. As she drew closer, she saw that Mickey was bleeding from his fingertips, using his own blood to write, "Death is beautiful." Nicky screamed, "Mickey, what are you doing?" Mickey turned slowly. His face was Mickey's, but his eyes had no pupils, just empty white voids. He spoke in a terrifying, distorted voice. "Nicky, we promised we'd never be apart, didn't we? Look, here we will be together forever." Nicky stumbled back in horror. On the manor's staircase, she saw hundreds of shadows crawling towards her. They were the souls of those who had once entered this mansion and never left. Suddenly, the figure of Mickey began clutching its own throat, hovering in the air as if an invisible force were strangling him. Nicky ran through the house in a blind panic. She reached the main door, but it was no longer wood. It had become a solid wall of iron. Suddenly, she heard the real Mickey's voice screaming from behind a locked door. Mickey was shouting desperately, "Nicky, get out of here! That's not me! This house is hunting us!" Nicky broke the lock and freed Mickey. He was badly injured and pale. They sprinted out of the mansion into the dark woods. Behind them, the mansion seemed to scream, and the tree branches clawed at them, trying to pull them back. They ran until they reached the edge of the very cliff where their car had stalled. Mickey took Nicky's hand and pulled the ring from his pocket. "Nicky, I wanted to give this to you back at the manor, but I think our journey ends here." Nicky sobbed. "No, Mickey, we're going to make it." Suddenly, the shadow that had taken Mickey's form appeared behind him. It lunged, pushing Mickey towards the abyss. Nicky tried to grab his hand, but Mickey let go of her grip so that she wouldn't be pulled down with him. "I love you, Nicky, always." Those were Mickey's final words. Mickey plummeted into the deep gorge. Nicky collapsed on the ground, screaming his name into the void. Suddenly, she felt the locket around her neck growing burning hot. She opened it. Blood was seeping out of the photograph of Mickey inside. The following morning, the police recovered Mickey's body at the bottom of the gorge. To their utter shock, Mickey had a peaceful smile on his face, and his hand was tightly clutching Nicky's locket. But the most terrifying twist came when the police tried to find Nicky. She was nowhere to be found. The only thing left at the edge of the cliff was that diamond engagement ring, which simply read, "Forever." Even today, the people of that valley say that in the silence of the night, you can hear a girl's voice calling out, "Mickey, Mickey," and in response, a boy's voice whispers, "I'm right here, Nicky." Their love remained incomplete in life, but their souls are still searching for one another near that cursed mansion. Love won the battle against fear, but it found no land to live on, only the air in which to haunt. Friends, the story of Nicky and Mickey teaches us that sometimes the price of love is paid with one's very life. Do you also believe that some places are truly cursed, where even love is suffocated by the dark? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. If this tragic and bone-chilling love story touched your heart and brought a tear to your eye, please like this video. For more haunting, mysterious, and emotional documentaries like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a new story. Stay safe, stay vigilant, because on the path of love, sometimes death becomes your traveling companion.